Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing one of the topic that is city creation. City creation basically we are discussing one other topic that is future creation, and that is basically the India's account. So in this basically we are discussed lots of things. In this basically we are discussing SBI account. In this basically we are discussing Amazon. In this basically we are discussing after 2 days basically the earthquake is going to happen. That is actually just one taken as one subject basically. In really basically there is no earthquake going to happen. Just taking as an example. Basically. So why basically? Because each and every earthquakes basically are connected with some topic basically, connected with some certain level of topics. That's why basically here I had taken as an example. Each and every stuff basically. One of the person told that MBA book is created from which idea basically. MBA book basically is created from which ideas. That basically the scientist group designs the brain. They told that basically this is a boundary of. They basically got some certain level of subjects. They designed the brain of MBA basically, and they told that basically this is the MBA chemical which you can use in the MBA creation basically. That is the MBA ideas areas. MBA idea means equal to books basically that I am saying. And whenever basically they are going to read the book, the ideas are going to come from that area, and from that area basically their blood cells basically is going to generate, and MBA blood cells is going to create on the base of that areas. That is the MBA cities created, or basically whatever area basically they might have created. That basically depends upon the data basically. And in this basically the doctors groups are also by default. They checks everything, they gives everything basically. Each and every stuff basically they checks, and then only basically the MBA degree has executed. So one of the person told that from where this MBA idea basically came. Scientists actually had designed this, right? Basically, they designed the boundary. They basically got certain level of subjects, but they also might have got some from somewhere. Basically, few people says that world basically has ended 102 to 103 times. So from this world ended basically, from which generation end basically this MBA books basically idea basically was created. That is the brain basically. So one of the person told that basically human brain basically which is created, that is created on the base of 103 time world ended plus currently basically which world is ongoing. Currently world basically which is ongoing, on the base of that is ongoing. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the creations basically are connected. What the person told that if you are creating any lava basically data, that data basically contains 102 or 103 time world basically which was ended. That data also basically it contains. So you can just able to imagine basically the creation level. So one of the person told that the world basically is created this way only. Here the topic is what? One lakh project basically which is Mumbai is currently doing, and they are doing on the base of certain level of power supply which they are getting basically. That's why basically the project management. That's why basically the software companies basically are always busy. 24 hours basically they work. Why they work basically 24 hours? There might be some reason, right? Basically, otherwise basically literally they are working 24 hours basically. Morning basically Indian basically are working. Then basically the USA, Europe, Italy, like this basically the times are divided. Like this only they are working basically. Everything is chained, connected basically. eClerx, TCS, they have branch in India also, and they have branch in America, Europe, Italy. Everywhere basically they have branch. So the one of the person told that The group basically who are the project company owners basically, they basically have to think very deeply basically, and they have basically they are actually thinking deeply also basically. It's not basically they are not thinking deeply basically. Sometimes basically they say that basically we can't trust any of the member, so they have to create the agile methodology framework concept basically, that is the scrum framework concept basically. So they have to create one virtual client basically, and on the virtual client means virtual company also you can say, and he is basically connected with one company basically. You will not able to believe that basically. Up to that level the things are connected. So you can just able to imagine basically how the things are basically connected. So 1 lakh projects which is ongoing in Mumbai, which is connected with the power company. Power companies are telling that basically we are taking the power from that area, which actually one of the person how they decides basically that from this area basically power have to taken, power need to take. There might be some source basically without basically literally basically they say that basically भाई यहाँ से ले लो power from take power from here, take from far from here this land. One of the person told that sun solar system basically they have created. So they have also created at the same. They told that basically the lava land basically that is very risky. Yeah, basically. But lava basically gives up to the level information that you see basically. They creates the each and every energy basically. They say that basically power basically can give the power basically if you can generate the power from the land basically, they can give everything basically which you want basically. So the lava group basically who created the lava, they are telling that basically we have dumped each and every energies into the land basically. That are romantic moods. Romantic mood means, for example, there is one husband wife basically they are doing job in company, one of the software company or any company basically. They connected with one power supply. They connected with them some power supply. They basically had physical activities. Then basically they got child. So the source was basically what? Source was that lava data basically which has given the power supply. One person told that, Are yaar, ye, he basically got some new idea basically. In mathematics, he basically solved the problem basically in totally different way basically. But that data basically was basically one power supply basically. That data basically was one power supply. One person told that, yeah, he actually designed one project management plan that basically does not exist in the project management document only. He basically created few more parameters in the project management plan documents. He basically created few parameters in the scope level management documents. That is basically does not exist in the document source only basically. Because each and every document basically contains source basically. For example, scope level management plan, communication level management plan, time management plan. So these all are basically documents which comes into the project management plan document. So these all basically are designed by certain level of groups. But if somebody basically adds something basically new, that means he connected with some certain level of ideas. That basically from where he basically takes. That is basically from lava data basically. So one of the person told that power company basically who gives the power basically, they plays very dangerous role. They plays very dangerous role. So they are basically giving power supply to 1 lakh projects. 1 lakh projects energies are basically getting created, and that is basically that energy basically is getting divided in many sides. In that many side basically lava data is also coming. So Mumbai is dumping basically lava data inside the land. In that land basically, this 1 lakh project is also basically containing 1 lakh projects data. So one of the person told that if one person basically want to create the lava data, that is the future power basically. future power supply basically, you can say. For that basically they have to do many levels of plan basically. It's basically not like that basically everything basically happens automatically. Lots of people says that sun solar system basically is that system basically which takes data from the environment. Electric vehicle is also basically telling that basically we are taking data from the environment. Why? Because in environment basically the power data basically is there basically. Sun solar system basically are telling that we are taking the data from the power supply, but they basically takes the data which is generating the power supply to each and every house, whatever wherever basically the sun solar system is using. So they basically takes up to the generation next level also. Means romantic mood basically generated into human body. He basically got one child, and then basically that child basically generated as a future basically. So that child basically got generated, that is future basically. That basically decided by sun solar system. That is decided by sun solar system basically. So sun solar system reached up to this level basically. One person asked the question, assume that basically world will end basically. As if just taking as an example, really basically world will not end so so easy basically. Assume that basically world ended. So what would be the last source? Few people says that when world will end, entire land basically is going to convert to sand basically, and it will disappear everything basically in universe. Few people says that the land will become convert into the lava data, and it will convert into water basically. So whole world basically will get converted into water basically. So that will convert into water basically, that entire earth. So there might be some condition basically, that if this condition will get applied, then basically the world will end, and then the world will get going to convert into water. If this condition will get satisfied, then the world is going to end, and then basically the entire world is going to convert to sand basically. So there might be some condition basically, because everything basically created on the base of certain level of condition only. That if you will add this, if you will add this, if you will add this, that is going to generate. If you will add this, if you will add those items, if you will add these all items, that thing is going to generate. So they have added thing basically, and on the base of adding basically, the things has created. So what is added and what basically on the base of the things are created, that is the old totally reverse basically. Add this, add those, that creation is ended. So here one of the person told that when the projects basically are getting created, that is the 1 lakh projects basically, they are basically getting the power supply from where basically? They are getting power supply from where basically? Where from where basically they are getting the power supply? That is from lava data, which is dumped long before by certain group basically. And like this, assume that basically in the world basically there are around more than 1 lakh areas basically which is giving power supply. And basically it might possible that on the base of that power supply which is getting, the world basically is ongoing basically. That is also possible na basically. Because how basically things are running basically smoothly with the peace, that basically you can't say that basically why the power supply basically has taken from where there, why the power supply data, that is the lava data basically which is dumped there, You can't say that basically. So Mumbai basically is dumping the lava data inside the land basically. So that is basically decided by some group basically. They are not basically directly dumping it basically, and they are taking percentage of basically from project also, that is basically 1 lakh project which is created, and lots of things basically they are dumping into the land basically. It's not like that basically everything is happening automatically. It's a perfect plan basically. On the base of the perfect plan, the things are created. So the power basically, the power data are getting created in the land basically, which is from the 1 lakh project also. Certain level of data basically are connected. So one of the person told that you are actually Mumbai. One of the person from satellite told them, "Arey Mumbai, you are actually creating the future power basically." And future power means whatever the activities basically you are going to do, that you are going to do from the power basically. So that power actually you are designing. That power data basically you are designing. So you are basically not doing the easy task basically. You are doing very dangerous task. So you have to think basically many times basically when you are creating the lava. So for that, basically South Africa basically country is basically there, but that is in front of the world that everybody knows that whatever things basically are written in the books basically, that all are totally wrong. Basically. So it's not in front of the world. That is basically not South Africa. Reason that is in front of the world basically, and whatever in front of the world, that all are wrong. So here basically we are not discussing into why basically somebody has created like this the world, that whatever things basically are in front, whatever things basically who created, they basically never comes in front. Why basically it has created? That is basically totally different topic only basically. So here basically we are not going to that level basically. That comes to negativity, positivity, lots of things basically are there. So here one of the person told that lava creation equal to power creation. Lava creation equal to power creation. So you are basically Mumbai creating the future level of data basically. You will not able to believe it basically. Future level data actually you are creating. The person who is going to do what basically, that actually you are designing. That actually you are designing. That actually you are designing basically. So one of the person told that future level data actually you are designing. One of the person told that future level data basically you are designing. So you are not doing the so easy task basically. E-Clerx basically has got some 100 projects. So he's basically not literally basically telling that basically, but he's connected with the computer system basically. So the people who created the software, they have designed everything basically. One framework actually they have designed, and within that framework, the companies are doing their work basically. And that framework is basically the power supply of the software, which is also going to dump into the lava data inside the Mumbai. Currently, basically, it's moving in Charni Road. So it's just taking as an example, but lots of people say that sea water basically is there basically, right? It doesn't comes inside the sea inside the Mumbai city basically. Why? Lots of people say that that also basically is one of the part of lava basically. That is also part of lava, na basically. That also basically might be dumping into the lava data basically. So one of the person told that Is the world basically divided like this? Mumbai power data, Vadodara power data, Surat power data, Valsad power data, Ahmedabad power data, Mumbai power data, Pune power data, Bangalore power data, Chennai power data, Trivandrum power data, Kochi power data, Chennai power data, Odisha power data, Kolkata power data. Like this, all states, basically, there are more than, I think, 39 states in India, and 39 state basically contains one more than 2 lakh, 3 lakh basically cities. This all 3 lakh city basically are divided basically into the power data basically. Somebody told that also because it might possible. Why they divided basically? There might be some reason basically, right? Otherwise, basically, that why they divided the India basically the India when it was created, that time basically they divided the power basically, and everybody knows that what is power. Power supply basically, that means that actually I'm saying. And power supply is basically handling the human body. For example, one person told that, yeah, basically I got connected to some new management level ideas. So that is actually one power supply which has came from. So one of the person told that each and every activities basically which the human do now basically they are doing on the base of which power supply, that who can basically track. That is actually very difficult basically to track because nobody in this world basically can track that basically. Nobody in this world basically can track that basically. Nobody in this world basically can track. That is not possible basically. One person told that Sunil R. Nair basically visited Bangalore city. There basically he actually not got the job. Why? There might be some reason basically. Interview basically he has given interview was also basically perfectly fine. Then also basically Sunil R. Nair basically not got the job. So there might be some reason basically. They have got the power supply. And basically currently basically Bangalore city 50 percentage population basically left Bangalore city. Why? Because there are some water crisis basically ongoing. Even basically the locals Bangalorean basically that is the Karnataka people, they are also basically facing difficulty because without water basically you can't survive basically. Water is equal to lava data basically. The people who is having the 30 lakh 40 lakh per month money basically, they can afford basically 2 lakh 3 lakh basically for money. But what about those people who are basically really earning basically 2 lakh 3 lakh per month? Because Bangalore salary basically is this much up to that level basically. If anybody is applying in Bangalore and basically they will ask basically what salary you are getting here Sunil, then Sunil Lanet will say 40,000. Immediately they cuts the phone. Why? Because they basically have are getting up to this level salary basically. 50% people basically left Bangalore city. Because why? Because they are facing from water crisis basically. So one of the person tells us, Sunil, you in Bangalore basically you have applied to which all countries? Sorry, not countries basically. That can be countries also basically. Why? Because for example, I applied to eClearX, and eClearX is basically having companies in 111 countries. That means Sunil R. Nair basically applied in 111 countries. So you can just imagine basically Indian software companies are connected up to the level basically. So here basically we are not discussing that basically, but here we are discussing that currently basically if Bangalore want to sort out the water crisis problem basically, Few people tell that basically, like the UAE basically is not having the water. They are basically taking water from this area, that area, those areas. Sometimes basically they are taking water from India. Up to this level they are doing, but they are not basically wherever basically they are digging basically that petrol is only coming. Why? Because that land is going to generate petrol. The lava data basically which has dumped into the UAE, that is going to generate petrol only. That is long before it was decided. So Bangalore city basically, if you want to get out from the crisis, so who basically can do that? Basically? They have to dump some lava data. If Bangalore basically is going to face this type of crisis problem, so somebody might have tracked that long before basically, long before they might have tracked. So it's not like that basically they might not have tracked basically. So for that basically they might have prepared the lava data also. It's not like that basically they might not have prepared the lava data. Assume that basically certain level of lava data which was prepared and power supply basically started sorry the companies basically started using that lava data. They basically started doing the projects also from that lava data which is dumped into the Bangalore city, and they basically doing the projects, completed the projects. They basically generated few vegetables from that projects. Then few more company jumped. They also basically generated few fruits. Few company more they generated oil. Few country more, few projects basically few companies basically jumped. Then they created petrol. Few companies more jumped. They basically created oil. Like this basically all human needs basically they have created from around 200 300 companies. Assume that basically this is the situation. If they will be, they have to get out from this basically. They have to get out from this water crisis. Like this basically they created all the projects. Whatever human needs basically it is going to use by Bangalore city. Repeating the word, going to use by Bangalore city. So it's very dangerous basically if you are using any of the item basically which Bangalore city, Bangalore power supply basically has not produced. That's very dangerous. Basically. When few people basically are visiting cities basically, they basically don't take anything basically with their hand basically. They basically everything purchase from that city only. Why? Because there are reasons basically behind that. So here one of the person told that if Bangalore want to get out from this crisis, this is the only option, that is 300 projects created. The lava data basically which was dumped, they basically assume that few the lava data basically are dumped. They use the lava data from with the help of the power, sorry, that is basically going to generate the power supply. From that power supply basically 200 300 company basically created some around some projects. That project basically they have created human needs also, and they basically tested also. And after that basically that lava data basically converted into water. So that will be the water basically which Bangalore city might be using, and from this basically they will going to be get out from the crisis. This is the only option basically. You can't take water from UAE. You basically can't take water from the Gujarat. You basically can't take water from the that area. Few people says that few states basically are giving water to Gujarat basically. So that basically is right or wrong basically. That is the question basically. That is actually question basically. So that also we are going to discuss. So here thing is what Bangalore city basically assume that basically the power data basically which was dumped, that was the lava data, that was in some one of the Karnataka city. Karnataka states one of the city basically. From there basically that state that city basically specially for creation of lava. So one city basically you have to create which is going to generate certain level of lava data. And from that data basically you are going to generate the power basically. Power generated, projects created, convert that lava into the water. Water crisis problem solved basically. But here basically you can't take water from Gujarat. You basically can't take water from Delhi. That is going to create problem in future basically for to you only. You can't take water from Italy. You can't take water from UAE. That is going to create problem to you only in future. That's why basically one of the person told that if you are dumping, assume that basically I will take one scenario basically. Assume that Bangalore basically created one project. They basically have some 300 countries, 300 companies. They basically created certain level of projects from this all 100 lava data, 100 types of lava data. They 100 types of lava data basically converted into water. That basically few time basically the water basically was inside the land. Then basically the water basically connected to the sea water. Inside the sea water basically, inside the sea water there is a water of Bangalore also. So how you are going to separate that water basically, and how you are going to give that water to that particular water basically, which is created from that 300 companies in the form of projects basically. How you are going to separate that water and how basically you are going to dump that water into Bangalore land again. How basically you are going to do that? For that basically they might because there are many equipments basically which are created by many countries. They are telling that basically we can separate this water basically. So you can just imagine basically water means up to the minor level basically you can say. After water basically there is no minor basically. So one of the person told that like this basically everything is connected. So one of the person told data is created while creating lava basically. While creating lava from the set of data basically, which is used by the set of groups basically. So is it possible that the earthquake basically which is coming, that data basically is connected with the lava data? That is possible basically. Because assume that basically in thousands buildings basically, the energies are dumped near the thousand buildings. That thousand buildings basically are generating some energies. Assume that basically inside the thousand buildings, down the thousand buildings, the lava data is also going. So that can basically give the earthquake basically because Microsoft has dumped the energies near around buildings, but they have not basically taken the condition of lava. Basically. Assume that basically, just taking as an example, because they don't basically have the map of underground, basically. Because they don't have the authority. Basically, that also you can say. So what is the thing basically going to? Earthquake is going to happen basically. 100% earthquake is going to happen. So like this also, this is also basically one of the condition of earthquake. So here again back to Mumbai 1 lakh cities. Sorry, 1 lakh projects. Basically. They are actually designing the future of certain groups. Basically. So they have already decided from the lava data. Basically, they have already decided. भाई इतने लोग ही रहेंगे. This many people only going to exist in the next future basically. So you can just imagine basically when they were creating this 1 lakh projects, they have already decided that this many people only basically going to exist in the world basically. So in the Mumbai city basically. Sorry, not in the Mumbai city, wherever the project are going to be used. So they are designing the project for particular people basically. So like this Mumbai basically has created 1 lakh projects. Like these other cities basically and Bangalore is there. They are basically creating certain level of projects. Vadodara city is there. They are also designing certain level of projects. Ahmedabad is there. They are also designing certain level of projects. So this combination data basically software company basically have it basically that they are designing projects basically for which all people basically that data basically is the future data of the future generation. That data basically they have, they might be having. That's why basically they are telling that basically we are generating the future. Basically. That means here the question is what? Assume that basically the Bangalore city basically telling that basically Mumbai city basically is telling that we have created this 1 lakh project. From this 1 lakh project, basically, we have decided that this many people basically is going to exist. That is actually they are designing from the lava data. Like this Bangalore people are telling that we have designed these projects basically, which is going to help to this many peoples. That means this many people basically is going to exist in the future basically. So one of the person told that, do the basically India have the future data of how many people basically is going to exist in India land and their group basically across the world. So in next 2 days basically we are going to see that topic only basically how they decide and how basically they are decided.